In this video, we're going to have a quick look at the sharing options when you're in a Microsoft Teams meeting. So if you've got the new Teams functionality turned on, your meeting window will be popped out and your sharing options will be here at the top, as well as all of the rest of the functions. If you've not got that functionality turned on, you wiggle your mouse, you'll see the bar pops up with all of your options on, and you'll see the share tray is available on that bar as well. So when you click on the share tray, when you're ready to share something in Microsoft Teams with the rest of the attendees of the meeting, you've got a couple of options here. So I can share my desktop, I can share an individual window, I can share PowerPoint, or I can share a whiteboard. So I'll walk you through all of those and just some really great hints and tips, I think, on the best ways to use them and the things you need to consider when you're using each one of the options. So when you share a desktop, make sure if you've got multiple screens like myself, you pick the correct one, and just be aware that will show everything that's on your screen. For systems and IT trainers like myself, or anyone who's sharing a lot of content, sharing your desktop is really useful. You can move between applications and content seamlessly. But it does get a bit frustrating if you forget to put your Skype on Do Not Disturb or your email notifications might pop up and it will distract the attendees and also yourself as well. So just be aware of that one. If you decide you want to share your window, you'll just share that system itself. So maybe you'll share Teams, or you might want to share your Internet Explorer. That's great if you're just sharing one thing, but 9 times out of 10 when I'm in a meeting and think that I'm just going to go into one thing, you'll go off on a tangent, a question will appear, and you'll need to move into another application or another browser window. And you're probably going to forget then that you've only shared that one application and everyone else in the call in the meeting is not going to be seeing anything. So it's going to be a little bit frustrating until you work that out. So just remember, if you're sharing a window only, if you do need to change that window, you're going to have to stop sharing and reshare again, just so the rest of the group can see what you want them to see. But it does stop notifications and everything else from popping up, so you have more control in that way. Within Microsoft Teams, you can also share a PowerPoint, so you can upload a PowerPoint into the meeting, which is really great. It's a really great way of doing it. You can keep the rest of the functionality of the meeting around it, and if I just click on the one I've got here, background test, if it wasn't there, I could click on browse and search in my computer and find the PowerPoint that I'm looking for. But if I just click on background test, it might take a few seconds, but it's just going to upload that presentation into my meeting. You can still see there that I've got the participants panel on the right hand side, so I can see who's in the meeting. I can chat and have conversations. And if anyone else was in the meeting and they had the video on, where my cursor is down at the bottom, you'd see those videos. So this is really great if you're sharing a presentation. Just a top tip to remember then, when you do share a presentation, the attendees, everyone else, can automatically move through your presentation at their own pace, which can be quite frustrating if you're sharing a certain slide and everyone else has moved on to 3, 4 and 5. To stop that from happening, just come up to the top where it says where the eye is and click on prevent participants from moving through shared presentation on their own. And if you click on that, it will just lock that presentation so that you're in control of what everyone else is seeing. There may be times when you want people to flexibly move through that presentation and give you some feedback. But if you're presenting content to a group, then you're going to want them to be seeing what you're seeing as well. And when you finish presenting, then just click on stop presenting and it'll take you out of the sharing. So going back into my share tray, my final option then is Whiteboard. And I'm probably going to do another video on this because I could talk about Whiteboard for quite a long time. But when this pops up, you'll notice that you have a whiteboard for every meeting that you're in. And you can go into the Whiteboard app and you can create whiteboards at your own leisure and share them with whoever. But this is really great. Imagine you're in a room in a meeting and you've got a flip chart or a whiteboard, you can really collaborate well within that room. You're not going to be able to do that in a meeting, but we've got our own digital whiteboard where we can draw. And especially if you're not using a tablet or a touch screen, you can click on the T and you can type stuff in there. And you can even add notes using the sticky note icon. So you've got lots of great options in here. You can create a JPEG and download a copy of this whiteboard, but everyone who's in the meeting will have access to be able to collaborate, no matter what device they're on, and also will be able to see that and access it after the meeting as well. So you can really get to grips with something in your department meeting or a project meeting and collaborate and create something together as a group of people. I'm just going to click on stop presenting at the top again. And that's really the options then for sharing content in Teams meetings. You've got desktop, you've got window, you've got PowerPoint, and you've got whiteboard. So hopefully that's given you a great idea of all of the different options. And before you go into a meeting and you share content, just have a think about what you might be sharing and what issues might arise, and consider which option you want to pick.